When you think of Little Nightmares, most likely you think of the iconic characters, Six, Mono, Thin Man, the Lady, of course mainly all of them. With Little Nightmares 3 coming within the next few months hopefully, something came to mind. We have been shown lots of little hints towards the Mirror Man coming to Little Nightmares 3 in some little ways and of course some big ways, the main one being the suggestion of mirrors. Now, of course, the Mirror Man is quite an interesting part of the Little Nightmares story, and you would be forgiven for not knowing about it, because the first time the Mirror Man and other characters were actually only ever brought up were in the comics that were released in 2017. So, new players entering the world of Little Nightmares and becoming fans of it more and more every day will not know this information. But it's not only the Mirror Man. There is also another character that has been forgotten too. One that I think holds one of the most interesting ideas and perspectives of the Nowhere and what it can really do. The North Wind. Now, the North Wind and the Mirror Man were first introduced to us in the comics in 2017. Those comics are nothing to do with the ones released beside Little Nightmares 2 and also the up-and-coming comic. When they were introduced to us in the comics, they left quite an intriguing, quite an impression. One of my favourite things was the exchange that the North Wind had with the Ferryman. The dialogue they had back and forth was so intriguing, and it really spoke volumes about the chaos in the world of the Nowhere. Not to mention, we had a third perspective, the narrator of the story of the 2017 comics, and it was an experience to say the least. Again, highly recommend it. It's a really different perspective looking into Little Nightmares from the narrative position that the comics takes. Now, bringing it back to the main games, throughout Little Nightmares 1 and 2, we've had little hints of their presence throughout the games. Most notably in Little Nightmares 2, where after the elevator puzzle, if you venture off to the left before continuing the game to the rooftops, there is a small room filled with hanging bottles and crows stuffed into bottles. And this room looks to have inhabited someone. Someone had been living there in this room. While the bottles were possibly used as a decorative piece, I do believe they had a different purpose too. I believe they were used to alert the person staying in that room that the winds have begun to blow, and it's time to keep running. The North Wind could be approaching, but who could be running? From what we know so far, there is actually only one child that has had an interaction with the North Wind and survived. The name of the child is unknown as of today, although the wiki likes to refer to the child as the Refugee Boy. For simplicity's sake, I will also refer to the boy as the Refugee Boy from this point forward. In 2017, we saw just how powerful the North Wind was. He was even a rival of the Ferryman. If that doesn't speak volumes, then I don't know what will. The North Wind was feared. It could take many forms. It could turn regular village folk against young innocent children, create ferocious winds that could rock buildings and summon clowns surrounding its target, and call upon its iconic creatures, the crows, to ignite fear into the target. And there was only ever one protection, and that was the charms from the 2017 comics. Now, to brush up again, the 2017 comics highlighted stories that were told by the children around the campfire, and in the Refugee Boy story, it was highlighted the use of charms that they would protect themselves with. Now, I've mentioned it before in a different video, but we have seen the highlight of charms again in Little Nightmares 3 with Lo. Lo is of course wearing a bracelet on his ankle that looks like it highly suggests it's going to act as like a charm from as we see in the 2017 comics. Now, just to go off on a bit of a tangent, I actually do have a theory that these charms are mainly connected to the Ferryman, and I say this because I believe that the charms are there for when the Ferryman either needs to pinpoint back to the children or a connection to the children. I think this is the way that possibly he uses his powers while he's not actually present with the child and keep the illusion of the sister living beside him. But sadly, the comics in 2017 are the only time we ever get to see the North Wind and the Mirror Man. Until now, I think it's no coincidence that we're seeing mirrors all over Little Nightmares 3, and of course the fact that even Lo can use them to his advantage and of course portal through. I think the Mirror Man is going to be showing up in Little Nightmares 3, but I also think he's not coming alone. Now, earlier I mentioned about the North Wind using crows to his advantage and into how he behaves and how he attacks his victims, also causes fear, yada yada. And I think the amount of crows that we are being shown directly to the player in Little Nightmares 3 is, to me, a little bit of a suggestion that it's more than just a few birds appearing. Because for me, the crows' behaviours are odd, to say the least. Granted, the crows are intrigued by Lo and Alone's presence, but it's almost as if they're looking and watching the children, studying them. And as we know from the comics, this is the North Wind's forte. He uses the crows not only to incite fear, but to use them, their sight. And this is suggested heavily in the comics with the whole highlighting of the crow's outline with an eye inside, almost suggesting, as if similar to the lady, he is watching. Oh, and if you're enjoying this video, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and helps myself, and of course you'll get to see more Little Nightmares theories and content as I cover them, and of course when news comes available. Anyway, back to the video. One other thing to point out, and it kind of suggests the fact that they are there for surveillance, is that the behaviour of the crows aren't particularly normal. They wouldn't be situated where they are a lot of the time. There's no reason for them being there. For instance, take the beginning of the necropolis with the trailers. They're there, they're watching Lo and Alone. They're not interacting with the environment, they're not looking for food, they're there, they're pecking away, they're looking, they're having a little look around, and there they are. They see the children, and then they keep an eye on them, and of course get too close, they're going to fly away. Now, I know it's a bit more speculation rather than theory, but you know, hold on, because I do think it's a small detail to be excited about, and it does, I think, really mean that much, because again, I do think it is enough. There is enough there to consider the possibility that the North Wind will be appearing alongside the Mirror Man. Now again, I don't believe they'll be working together. I just think that if you can bring the Mirror Man in from the comics, what is stopping the North Wind from appearing? Again, I can't shake the feeling, and it just seems to me a great opportunity could be had here. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have a theory, please share away. We all like theories here, that's why we're here. And also, if you think there are any characters that might be returning, let me know in the comments below too. I'd love to hear your insights and your thoughts. And of course, with that being said, if you're a new viewer here, please hit subscribe. It helps the channel quite a bit. And if you are a returning viewer that hasn't subscribed or forgot to, again, same thing, it helps out quite a lot. And of course, if you want to see more Little Nightmares content, I will have much more coming, especially with the closer we get to release. And of course, I also do cover Reanimal, so if that is something you're interested in, again, hit subscribe. Anyway, have a lovely morning, day or night wherever you are in the world. Thank you for watching this video, I appreciate it greatly. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next theory video. Bye.